Hello everybody and welcome back to another Crusader video of myself, Critical Rocket, here as part of the Chassis Variant series, and we're looking at the Crusader 7L. Now, as we all know, the L designation is for Lao, but can also mean for loser. The Capellan Confederation developed the 7L quite far on into the timeline, the late 3060s, and it was a model that was designed around some of their new stealth armor tech. So it was by default equipped with ECM because it needs that to work in conjunction with the stealth armor, and has a pretty broadly similar layout to the default Crusader in the sense that it's got a pair of ER mediums, a pair of LRMs, some Streak 4s instead of regular SRMs, and it has, as the aforementioned, stealth armor and ECM suite. This apparently necessitated a reduction in speed. It went down to roughly 50 odd kph 54, I think, but it had the addition of jump jets to give it a bit more maneuverability on the field. As such, it doesn't use an XL engine, it comes with a standard 195, I think it is, fusion engine, and as such, it's a generalist all-rounder, but it has the sneaky Capellan ability to, well, go stealth and be able to hit targets without them actually knowing where they are. I mean, as stealthy as you can be in a battle mech, let's face it, and something that's big. I mean, so if you don't hear it on some kind of seismic sensor or, you know, see the bleeding thing with a horn sticking out of its head, I don't know how you're missing it. Essentially, it's still the same jack-of-all-trades heavy mech. It's got a couple of unique quirks to it. Personally, I quite like it, but I'm kind of a sucker for all of the Crusader variants in general, to be honest. I just like the mech. Unfortunately, I can't escape them. The Wobbies got about half the run of this mech. Although it was developed specifically for the Capellan Confederation, apparently for some reason half of them were sold to the Word of Blake, because as we know, the Word of Blake have got infinite amounts of cash and infinite amount of pull with the different great houses at some point to conveniently give them everything they need so they can then attack everybody at the same time all at once. Stupidity of the writing, because, oh, we need a great villain after the clans, what's the next big villain of the setting? Oh, Word of Blake. But yeah, that aside, obviously the streaks, which normally would have been in the legs, which is one of the quirks of the Crusader, was its leg-mounted missile launchers, they get moved up, so there's no, sadly, still no leg-mounted missile hardpoints. Yeah, overall, pretty decent, and in MWO, you've got a mech that's got a decent all-round set of missile hardpoints and some energy to back it up. I am running at this point, and this is where I made a mistake. I bumped into this Annihilator, who he knows that assault mech was coming, and he also knows he's getting missiles fired on him. I know I've got a pulse laser mech coming after me. I don't want none of that, and I bumped into her, and I fucked up. I really messed up. Luckily, the jump jets did at least allow me to jump out of the way. So because if I, you know, any other variant that didn't have jump jets, I would have been stuck. I also don't think I used much of the stealth armor in this, but that's because I don't think stealth armor is particularly useful on a big mech like this. I can see why it works on things like the Thanatos, because it's got the ballistic hardpoint, so you can park it up somewhere at a distance and it can just like light Gauss people from range. This doesn't have any high mounted ballistics hardpoint, so there's no point in running. Personally, I don't see the point in running the stealth armor on it. Keep the ECM obviously, because that helps, but the stealth armor I don't think really adds much. I think even if you did customize the build on this to make use of the missiles, it's not going to be a big improvement, you know, it's not going to change much. That aside, really fun match. I really like this one. It was a good fight. I thought this was a good showcase of the 7L and its ability to move around and support when needed with its LRMs, and then when opportunity arises, being able to get in with the lasers and the streaks. It's relatively heat efficient out of the box before you start messing with things. It comes with double heat sinks as standard. The speed isn't that detrimental, especially in MWO. Personally, I always found that mechs that run kind of average speed, not too fast in the medium and heavy range, are quite good for being able to stay with the assault players, but also not too far back that if a light player does encounter an enemy, that they can get close enough to attack them and support. So I think this kind of fits, again, out of the box, speaking here, it fits the general kind of all-rounder sort of model. I think that you know, its armor isn't brilliant. The Crusader has never been a mech that's had great armor. Yeah, you could obviously just do certain finagling and get the thing into a much better position armor-wise, you know, for its hit point to make it a bit more survivable. Obviously, buying skills as well. I think this is skilled. I think I've got the, you know, the standard, the skeletal ones, the armor upgrades, that kind of thing that gives it a bit more survivability. But this is obviously where things start to take a turn for the worst as the as basically just get swarmed by the light mechs. I was actually surprised I lived long enough to get that streak shot off before I exploded, but I think I did alright. I mean, nearly 600 damage and took a fair amount at the same time. Then it was just down to this person who I don't think I'd ever connected, which I believe was a dire wolf. I just let the rest of the team know where they are, so you know, so they're not running around looking for a mech that's hiding somewhere. I don't think this guy disconnected. I think this person was like AFK or whatever. But yeah, you know, that's just how it goes. There's not much left of that. Overall, I do quite like the mech. I like the 7L. It's a decent machine. And next time, yeah, he wasn't disconnected. You can see he's there. The next time we get back to one of these videos, it'll be the Hatchet Man variants. I know it's been a while getting these done. Honestly, sometimes with I won't lie, sometimes I find it difficult to want to run around and play MWO at times. Not every time. When I do get playing it, it's perfectly fine. It's just like putting aside other stuff that I have been enjoying playing and then jumping into MWO. But I have had a run of decent recordings for another series in MWO, so you know, we'll get around to the Hatchet Man variants. We'll get them done. And yeah, we'll see how those go for me. Probably badly, now that I've said that. But thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch you all next time. Have a good one. Bye bye.